raise some monies through NiDCLF for the defense funds of Dr. Thompson Fontaine, the people of Salisbury, and others who find themselves being charged and being persecuted. So today I just want you to reach out, as we hear in this psalm there by Diana Ross. Reach out. Dig deep down in your pockets. If you can give $1, if you can give $5, if you can give $10, do that, huh?
Reach out and touch somebody's hand. Make this world a better place.
All right, Dominica, we're here. We're here right now, 449-3095 and 96. We joining the team there, who's we will be joined for the next 2 hours. Mr. Sheridan Gregoire, Simon, Nicholas George. I expect Nicholas George. I'm seeing Mr. Gregoire, Dr. Dion George. A big team here this afternoon to tell us just what is going on. But let me just reach out and say good afternoon to the Chief Executive Officer of Q95 Radio, and say good afternoon to you, Mr. Gregoire. Tell us exactly just what is going on here this afternoon.
Hi, Matt, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine for now.
Everything great. Well, what we're doing here this afternoon, Matt, is really continuing what we started doing. As you can see, we're joined here by Dr. Dion George, Mr. Nicholas George, Dr. Dion, Dr. Simone Matthew, and we're really also hoping to have Dr. Irving Andre and Attorney Gabriel Christian with us this afternoon. Really what we're doing is really promoting NiDCLF, because as you know, Matt, NiDCLF, the purpose of NiDCLF really is to provide advocacy. The main goal is to support, is to assist and support efforts and initiatives geared at presenting democracy, human rights, and civil liberties. Of course, the main objective is to provide advocacy, education, information, and raise funds to help ensure that appropriate legal defense counsel is available to fight against corruption, violations of democracy, human rights, and civil liberties in Dominica. So this afternoon, Matt, we're continuing that advocacy role that we're playing, and we're dealing primarily with what's going on in the courts right now with some of the people who have been charged with incitement. And so today, we really want to focus on that a little bit, and to what we really would like to see happen is for those charges to be dropped. Because if we go through that case, Matt, we'll see there's a long history since 2017, and absolutely nothing is going on after 5 years in the courts. And then the recent activities with Dr. Fontaine has just reminded us how bad it is. In the sense that after 5 years, these cases cannot be prosecuted, and I think it's about time they got dismissed for want of prosecution. And I hope the attorneys who are representing some of these people who have been charged with incitement will move to the courts to do that. Because as you can see, I mean, Dr. Thompson Fontaine came to Dominica of his own volition. Nobody forced him to come back, so he came and he was arrested. He has a good job out there in South Sudan. He went there to do his job, and he was arrested when he came back, very unceremoniously and unnecessarily so. But the thing is how he was treated, and then the fact that the bail conditions that he has received are excessive and obviously punitive. So today we are really making a case that Dr. Thompson Fontaine, the charges against him be withdrawn, the charges against the opposition leader Lennox Linton, and all of the other persons who are charged with incitement, because none of these cases are going anywhere, it seems. And so we're saying that, and this afternoon we also want to launch a petition that we have put on the NiDCLF website to ask people to go in there and vote yes for justice for Dr. Thompson Fontaine and for the other patriots, which include opposition leader Lennox Linton. And then also we want to ask people to support all fundraising efforts. Go in there and make a little donation too with NiDCLF. Why? Because whatever funds we raise, in addition to our advocacy role, we want to help provide legal defense counsel for some of those people, like the people of Salisbury, who are looking for redress in the courts. And for those persons, as I said, there have been charged with incitement, and those charges are going nowhere. And certainly, Matt, we hope that all of these punitive bail conditions against Dr. Thompson Fontaine will be varied. I'm not sure what is the current position now, but that's where we are for now, Matt.
All right, let's join Simon at this time, and of course, she will add her own 2 pence on the exercise this afternoon. Good afternoon to you, Dr. Simon.
Yes, good afternoon, Matt. Thank you for having us on your program this afternoon. A pleasant good afternoon to all our listeners of Q95 at home and abroad. Good afternoon to our Facebook and our YouTube Live viewers as well. And yes, just to kind of piggyback on what Mr. G just said, it's so important that this be an ongoing effort to raise the defense funds and to just continue the work of NiDCLF, because I think what we're seeing, Matt and everyone, is that while we may have already thought that we had seen the atrocities that are going on in Dominica, more and more situations are coming to light. So if, for example, we look at the conditions that Thompson was held under in the cell, what we're also seeing is that there are human rights violations that desperately need to be attended to. When people who are not convicted of crimes are being held in those conditions. And Matt, you have very succinctly given us a description of the holding cells that I'm sure we can all recall. But what we are seeing is that there are just increasing numbers of these incidents. So I certainly think we can see why there is a need for the work that NiDCLF is doing. So we are here today, of course, to ask everyone to make whatever donation you can. No amount is too small, no amount is too great. And just to remind everyone, the website again is NiDCLF.org. NiDCLF.org, and you can go on there right now. You can go right now and start making your contributions, your donations.
All right, and I'm sure Dr. Gion George will sort of guide those who don't know how to get there to do so and make that contribution. Dr. Gion George, before I join Mr. Sheridan Gregoire.
Absolutely. Good afternoon, Matt Pelte. Good afternoon to the listeners of QFM. So yes, I'm very thankful for the opportunity to have some time to talk about NiDCLF and the purpose of our existence, but particularly the need for persons to contribute to the immediate cause, which is the issue of Dr. Thompson Fontaine and his compatriots who are facing some charges. Firstly, let me say thank you to the persons who have went to our website, that is www.nidclf.org. Indeed, after our discussions in the past week or so, some persons have in fact contributed, and they have received their receipts, and we are very thankful for that. So let that be noted. And the other thing is, of course, one of our primary goals is to support advocacy for the protection of human and civil rights. And one of the amendments to the U.S. Constitution, by the way, which is part of our Constitution as well in Dominica, is the part of having a speedy trial, the right to a speedy trial. And I think that is one of the issues here with this pending case of incitement against the aforementioned Dr. Thompson Fontaine, Lennox Linton, and others. The fact that this case has been pending for over 5 years and has not come to fruition. And so clearly the intent here is questionable. It's quite dubious. Why let that case go on for so long? Added to the fact that, of course, after Dr. Thompson Fontaine came in voluntarily to Dominica, of course, to respond to that and the way that he was treated. Notably, I think it's also important to bring up the issue of Salisbury. I have said consistently that the government has a role to put order in society, but also the idea of putting order in society should be consistent with the people's will. And so if the people protested for feeder roads, if they protested for other matters, indeed, the government should find a way to respond outside of violence, outside of tear gas. And indeed, the whole idea of tear gas with accusations that some of the canisters were were expired, and at the ungodly hour in the morning when persons are sleeping, it makes one wonder, of course, not forgetting the timing on the eve of an election. What are we doing here? Is this real democracy? Is this any form of violation of human rights? And so NiDCLF is this non-profit, non-political organization that fosters these ideas. And we hope today and moving forward that the public can see the vision, that the public can see the cause, and would wholeheartedly support our efforts, Matt.
Can you tell us just a quick remark there? Have people been responding to the call to, donate and give on the website?
Yes, persons have started to respond, particularly after I think it was last week or a week and a half ago.
Week before me.
Yes, we had a discussion, and soon after that, we had quite a few persons respond by financially supporting NiDCLF. That's one. And secondly, which I thought was very interesting, we had persons send us direct communication via email asking about their own personal problems to do with family ties and so forth. I think I would prefer Dr. Andre, or rather Gabriel Christian, as the attorneys speak towards that, because apparently some persons think that maybe our board members can assist. What I think NiDCLF stands for is an advocacy group that can perhaps raise fund, and provide resources for persons where clearly there has been a violation of their rights, etc. But to answer the question in sum, yes, persons have been reaching out, have been seeking to get aid, and also have been contributing. And so we are satisfied thus far.
All right. Thank you, Dr. George. Let's say good afternoon to Mr. Sheridan Gregoire, former ambassador. Good afternoon to you, sir.
Good afternoon, Matt, and good afternoon to your many listeners.
I see you've dedicated yourself to that cause of NiDCLF.
Yes, Matt. As a non-profit organization dedicated to advocacy for civil rights in Dominica, for democratic rights, it was an honor to serve on the board. And I'm here this afternoon with the other board members making the appeal to the Dominican public, both at home and abroad, to support the efforts that we are committed to. And in particular, at this very hour, we are concerned about justice and due process for our brother, Dr. Thompson Fontaine. It's been 5 years since these charges of incitement have been levied at him and Lennox Linton and the former Prime Minister Edison James. For want of prosecution, we really feel that after 5 years and there's really no deliberate attempt by the prosecution to bring this cases forward, we are calling on the prosecution to drop the charges. It's been too long, and we believe that 5 years has been adequate time for the prosecution to present its case, and that's not forthcoming. Let me say that we are thus far very thankful for those who have already committed to NiDCLF, and we are here this afternoon making a further appeal to many others who we believe can contribute, and we would like you to contribute. And you can simply do that by going to our website, NiDCLF.org, and you can make a contribution.
Yeah, and Matt, if I might chime in for just a minute, I think what we're alluding to here is the fact that there needs to be statutes of limitations in Dominica, so that this one pending issue does not linger over someone's head indefinitely, because it's already been 5 years. So how much longer should we expect this case of incitement to linger over the heads of, Thompson and the others? And also, for those on Facebook, I see someone has already asked, how can they make a donation? So I went ahead and I posted, if you're viewing on Facebook, the link to the website, NiDCLF.org. And while I'm here, let me say good afternoon to Father Elvio Augustine, who's with us today, Juanita Prince, as well as Augustina John, who's joining us from Canada. So from far and wide, from near and far, we all need your help. And let me also add, Matt, that we're not coming to the public and seeking donations. We're actually practicing what we preach. So we, as the executives of NiDCLF, we make donations every month. And Dion might appear as this mild and mellow guy over there, but he's quite a stickler for reminding us when we need to make those donations. So we're not coming to the public and seeking donations. We're also practicing what we preach, because we too believe that we must go beyond simply talking about these issues and putting some teeth into what we're trying to accomplish. So with that, we want to encourage everyone to make a donation. And again, there's not too much that's too small or too much. So again, NiDCLF.org. And if you have any questions, we would encourage you to call with your questions to let us know what your concerns are.
Thank you. Let me just apologize on behalf of Mr. George, who said his microphone is giving some problems this afternoon. Won't be able to join us here, as a treasurer here in Dominica to take donations. So I apologize on your behalf, Mr. George, and I'm sure we'll hear from you sometime in the near future. So we're going to start the ball rolling. And let me just turn on the mic and give it to Mr. Sheridan Gregoire as we start the ball rolling. I'll tell you the numbers are 449-3095, 449-3096, 449-3097, 616-4257. And again, I just want to go back to Mr. Gregoire at this time.
Yes, Matt. Actually, if we recall the history of those cases, Matt, justice rarely delayed is justice denied, right? And it's 5 years, really. Matt, you remember how this thing started off? First of all, let's go back to the Salisbury situation. We know what happened. The people were in their bed at night, and while they were asleep, they got tear gas and guns were fired at them and bullets steered into people's homes and whatnot. That really was not really it was uncalled for. Remember, that was on the eve of a general election. Next day was a general election. This is
December 2019.
That's correct. You remember that very clearly. So the people of Salisbury need some redress, and there is no reason why an organization like NiDCLF should not assist them in every way we can to keep the advocacy going, create the awareness and maintain it, and to help whatever we can do to help them with the Legal Defense Council. Because, Matt, if we come again to the situation, that meeting in Roseau, it was in 2017, wasn't it? That took place in Roseau. After that meeting, we can all recall, there seemed to have been some activity around town, maybe a couple of hours or so after the meeting. I believe people who organized the meeting maybe had long gone from the scene. And I understand that some of the young people may have been dissatisfied for some reason or the other, that they did some vandalism around town. Stones were thrown into some people's buildings, I understand. My understanding is that several people were arrested in connection with the incidents, but none of these people, I'm not hearing any charges being brought against the people who actually committed these acts of vandalism. And what I'm hearing is, in fact, that not one of those people who was arrested and who was supposed to have been charged with this vandalism, not one of them has said that they were incited by any of the people arrested and charged with incitement. Not one of them said they were incited by any one of those people to carry out the acts that they carried out. So you have to be left to wonder, well, why are those people being charged with incitement when the people who did the act said none of those people did anything or said anything that incited them to commit those acts? So you begin to wonder about that. And the fact, Matt, that after 5 years, so many times the thing has gone to court and is postponed and postponed and postponed. In most other jurisdictions, this case would have been thrown out for want of prosecution a long time ago. And it seems to me, so how much longer can we carry on if we say that we have a democracy? And if our justice
Mr.
system...
Jay, I'm going to cut you off for a minute because somebody's been holding on the line there. And again, maybe wanted to make a contribution to the cause this afternoon. Good afternoon to you. How are you?
Yes, good afternoon, Matt, and good afternoon, Mr. G,
Good
Christian,
afternoon
and
to
all
you.
the others.
Yes.
Yeah, I just want to raise the call and lead by example. I will be making a $300 contribution as my first contribution, and I plan to contribute something monthly. I just want
So
to call
are we
the
talking
Patriots.
$300 US, yes?
Yeah, $300. I just want to ask the Patriots to step on this cause because we got to deal with this. And it's not just Thompson. We have an MMC thing that we have to take to court. We have to stop this government funding. So we need that money. Peace and blessings.
All right. Thank you very much. We now have a contribution. I'm sure Mr. George may be taking notes. And I have a young lady there, of course, represented. Mr. George is taking, phone calls and numbers here. And that was Zed Lloyd. I'll call it from New York, pledging $300. So this is a way to go, and I'm encouraging everybody, especially those from the Salisbury area, to contribute because, of course, this is your cause. We're going to come back after this.
Island Dominica Civil Liberties Foundation, Inc., NiDCLF, uniting our Kalinago and Afro-Caribbean nature islanders and friends of Dominica at home and abroad, coming together to help preserve the integrity of Dominica's democracy, human rights, and civil liberties, ensuring free, fair, and competitive elections on a level playing field within a system that guarantees freedom of expression, belief and association, respect for the inalienable rights of individuals and minorities, respect for the rule of law, for free communications media, and free from psychological, mental, and physical abuse of women, minors, the elderly, and young men. Meantime, the people of Salisbury were tear gassed and shot at while they slept the night before the general election in December 2019 by local law enforcement aided and abetted by regional security forces. Patriots appear ready to take the biggest step to fight this cancer that is ravaging every organ of good governance in Dominica. Patriots appear ready to join the legal fight to have the highest court in the region decide once and for all if Dominica should continue to operate as a rogue state where the state's coffers may be starved while secretive accounts in unknown places are filled to the brim with taxpayers' money. NiDCLF, join the fight to save Dominica from this malevolent cancer. Make your contribution, however modest, to support the legal challenge to account for Dominica's millions. The law is on your side. Every patriot should be on your side. NiDCLF, support our radiothon, fundraising events, subscriptions, GoFundMe, and other initiatives to help raise funds.
I'll tell you what. Somebody is on the telephone at this time. Are you there? 449-3095-96 and 97. Let's go to the telephone. Hello, yes.
Hi, good afternoon, Matt. How are you?
Good afternoon to you, yes?
I'd like to donate $100.
$100. Can you give me your name, please?
My name is Mark Benoit.
Or you don't always have to give your name because some people, for anonymity purposes, don't like to give the name. You can give your number. Give me your number, please.
277
277
97
97
18.
Thank you very much.
I'll do my best to bring it to the studio.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you. We're doing this for a just cause, huh? Somebody's also reminded me that don't forget, Matt, that Mr. Skerritt said on Kyrie FM the said night that he had the evidence that UWP was responsible, yet today we've had no evidence. Let's go to the telephone. Hello, yes?
Blessings to you, Mr. Peltier.
Blessings to you, blessings.
And the gentleman there. Matt, I just want to say in the way the whole justice system is being manipulated, we have to do more than just donating or maybe just using a way to raise funds because something is definitely wrong. But Matt, I do not want to delve in that. That's not the time for that right now. I want to pledge $200, Matt.
$200 from Blessings. Give us your number here.
245 4429.
4429. Blessings.
Blessings.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you. Mr. George, there are those maybe in the diaspora and those overseas who may be wanting to pledge via another medium like Western Union. Or is that possible, Mr. George? Yes.
Right now, I have not shared my private number publicly.
Okay.
Yes, the menus in which one can donate as we speak. One is through the website. Secondly, we have a PayPal account, which is the email of NiDCLF, which, by the way, is NiDCLF@gmail.com. And so if one wants to pay by PayPal, they can do that. But of course, I believe the easiest way is to go directly to the website and make a donation. For those in Dominica, of course, they can contact Mr.
George.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much. Somebody's, let me give you the number. Somebody's pledging $150. Let me give you guys that number there. On my cell phone is 617-5827. You have that?
Yes.
617-5827. Let's go to the telephone at this time. Yes. Hi. Talk to me.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Afternoon to you. Good afternoon to you.
Yes, on behalf of Mr. Thompson and hello.
Yes, I'm here. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm pledging $60.
$60. Can you have your number, please?
277-1193.
277-1193. Let's go to the telephone. Another call. Yes.
Good afternoon, Matt.
Good afternoon to you.
I'm pledging $100
Whole day. Okay. Can you give us your number, please?
I'll bring the money for you, Matt.
All right. Bring it to Q95, please. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Drop it to Q95. Thank you very much. Again, Mr. George or Simon, can you help? Because somebody's again, people have just joined. I want to make the donations through the website. Can you assist us there?
Yes, so Matt, it's pretty straightforward. Once you go on the website, the very first thing you will see on the website is the donate button. You simply click on it, you enter your account information, you enter the amount that you would like to do. And you know what, Mr. G, as I'm thinking about it, maybe we can have a session one of these days where we actually walk people through the process of the website just to make it very crystal clear. But again, it's very straightforward. Just go to the website, and we want to encourage everyone to send us an email. If you're having any problems, please email us at NiDCLF@gmail.com, and we can walk you through the process. We can get on the phone with you.
Say slower, slow.
Sure.
Because people are still asking. Just be very slow.
Sure.
And just say it very, very every minute
sure.
is necessary at this time. Just tell us what it is.
Right. So again, N as in Nancy.
Thanks, you.
I as in India. D as in David. C as in Charlie. L as in Larry. F as in Frank. NiDCLF@gmail.com if you have any questions. And Matt, while I'm on the mic, because I have to leave in a little while, I just want to remind us all that this goes beyond Thompson. This goes beyond the cases that we're looking at. Because, Matt, I have to tell you, I recently had a program, and we were fortunate enough to have 2 attorneys at law who both practiced in Dominica joined us. And one of the alarming examples that they relate to our audience is the fact that we have innocent Dominicans pleading guilty to crimes that they did not commit. Those are the lawyer's words, not mine, simply because they did not want to be detained in the holding cells. Think about that for a minute, Matt. That people are simply agreeing that they've committed crimes that they've not committed because of the conditions of the cell that they will be held in. So I think what we're seeing is that there is so much need, there is so much work that NiDCLF has to do. And of course, we need your funding, we need your assistance to be able to put programs together. So not only are we talking about legal defense funds to defend those who have not been proven guilty, but we also need funds to put educational programs together so that we all know what our rights as citizens of Dominicans, what are those rights that are precious and we hold dear in Dominica. So I think we have a lot of work to do, and I'm hoping that we can all come together to ensure that we can move our efforts together as one Dominica.
All right. Somebody's pledging $100. I'll give you that name. I suspect that person wants the name. Very anonymous. So I'll share that number with you there. There's a young lady helping us at this time. And of course, you can call privately. The number of Mr. Nicholas George, 285-5585. So again, as Mr. George indicated, you can do that via PayPal, right, Mr. George?
Yes, you can do that via PayPal. You can do that directly on the website. You can do that, of course, contacting our local contact, Mr. Nicholas George. And as I'm hearing now, of course, person can come to the office. But Mark, if I may say, this is bigger, according to Dr. Simone Matthew, bigger than just the current issue. Of course, right now, the focus is really the charges against Dr. Thompson Fontaine, former Prime Minister Edison James, and of course, the current opposition leader, Mr. Lennox Lincoln, and the others, right? But of course, Salisbury issue as well. One of the things that NiDCLF has vowed to support is the fostering of democracy and people's rights for exactly what it's worth. One of the former presidents of the United States, Benjamin Franklin, he was asked, what kind of government did you give us, sir? And he said, I gave you a democracy if you can defend it. Ultimately, what I mean by that is people have to fight for the democracy. And of course, we can appeal to international organizations. We can appeal to other folks to come and help us. But the bottom line is enshrined in exactly what the Declaration of Independence for the US says. It says that we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, endowed by the Creator with inalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And that if a government were to abridge these rights, it is the responsibility of the people to remove that government and implement a new one. The point here is, if a government is not working for the people, if when the people protest or petition the government, which is part of their rights, that they are attacked violently with live shots, with tear gas, with rubber bullets, it's a violation of human rights. And of course, there are other concepts like, like Dr. Simone put, statute of limitation on a particular charge. For God's sake, it has been over 5 years. There are other things that speak about the right to a speedy trial. The other thing that talks about habeas corpus, bring the body forth, charge them, and call the case. But for some reason, this one has been delayed. And so we are really appealing, one, to secure our democracy for all persons involved, and two, so that these gentlemen can go about their merry way and democracy will function in Dominica.
Yeah, and Matt, can I just chime in real quick?
Do you think we have lost our democracy? Or we have lost all aspects of justice?
Are you talking to Crispin Gregoire, Matt?
Crispin Gregoire, yes.
Matt, I can't say that we've lost our democracy yet. But there are many policies that have been put in place to limit the rights of citizens for freedom of assembly, for example, that has been under attack for the last few years. People who have been protesting peacefully for electoral reform have faced volleys of tear gas. People have just been arrested for incitement, which is sort of a nebulous charge, and one that the state has not been able to prove. So yes, Matt, there's serious curtailment of individual rights and political rights, and that is not, doesn't augur well for democratic process in Dominica.
Let me ask Dr. Simon, what do you think?
Yeah, certainly I agree with what Crispin is saying, that this can be a very slippery slope if we do not stop the slide at this point. I think we're certainly at a crossroads in Dominica where we need to take the necessary action to protect our civil and our human rights. But Matt, I also wanted to chime in as well to say that we know that many people are unable to be with us at the 1 o'clock hour. Many people are probably at work and unable to listen to the program. But if you share the link to the Facebook Live, remember, folks can always come back and watch the entire program, get the links to make the donation, get the email address, get the PayPal account. So remember, the more you share this live, the more you share the Facebook and the YouTube websites, is the greater the audience we are able to reach via this medium. And we just want to remind everyone that it is Q95 FM radio. So again, on Facebook and YouTube Live, Matt, I know you like to tell me speak slowly. So Q95 FM radio on both Facebook and YouTube. And if you continue to share these websites, these locations, then we can reach an even bigger audience. Because what you're going to have, Matt, you're probably going to be bombarded with people who say, oh, I missed the conversation. I missed the conversation. But if you go back to Facebook, you go back to YouTube, you've not missed anything. So we encourage everyone to share the live, share the YouTube link so that we can reach even more potential donors to our cause here at NiDCLF.
All right, so we all have agreed that we have a cause, we're fighting for justice. But deep down here, do you think that the people concerned about this, or are they scared? You don't get that passion that people want justice, do you?
Well, I think, Matt, people are afraid of being victimized. I think that is what a lot of everything boils down to, Dominica. If I speak up, I will be victimized in some way. I won't get a job. I won't get a handout. My child won't get a scholarship. So I think here we're saying that you can donate anonymously. So even if you do not want your voice to be heard on the radio, you don't want, to give out your information, the point of having the website, the point of having the PayPal account, and you can even discreetly come to Q95 to make your donation. So that way in your heart, in the conscience of your mind, you know that you're making a contribution to the correct cause. Because again, if this is left unattended to, imagine where we will go next. Today it is Thompson. Today it is Mr. Lennox Linton. Tomorrow it may be a family member of yours. And already we're getting emails from folks who are saying, well, this is the current situation that a family member is facing. So now is the time to make the donations to the Legal Defense Fund so that we are able to begin the work.
You're making a lot of sense there, Simon, because I can see through text messages here that people who in the government system want to make a contribution but are afraid of even calling their names, huh?
Yes. And we don't need to call your name. We just need your donation. And then when you see the work being done, you can think to yourself, wow, I made a difference. Because anonymously, I knew what I had to do and I did it.
Mr. G, you want to chime in on this?
Well, yes, Matt, let's face it. Here's what is upon us. Charges of incitement are being brought against people who had nothing to do with incitement, according to the persons who committed the acts of vandalism, who have all said, from what I gather, that none of these people incited them to do anything. Furthermore, Matt, if we can all recall, you can recall for sure, Matt, that Dr. Thompson Fontaine was actually on air at Q95 during that meeting.
Yes, very true.
Yes, I'm pretty sure that you yourself have reported to him while he was on air.
I did a few reports that night, yes.
So here is the question. Well, why is Dr. Thompson Fontaine being charged with incitement? He was on the radio. He wasn't anywhere close to that meeting or anywhere out there after the meeting when these activities took place. Now, Matt, what is even worse is the manner in which he was treated. Here is a gentleman. I mean, if you look at Thompson Fontaine, this man does nobody. You find Thompson Fontaine looking like a guy who looking to incite anybody to do anything or to create any problem. It's far, far from that. That is just not his makeup, not his personality. Matt, you'll recall Dr. Thompson Fontaine reported to you that when you went into that jail cell, you had traveled for how many hours? You had not slept well, suffering from fatigue and jet lag, and he was put on that cold floor to sleep. But Matt, you remember he said to you, you know, what concerned me most was the other young people that I saw in there. Some of them who had been brought in there for some little petty thing, and if things were really bad with them, and I really want to help them. Isn't that what we heard from Dr. Thompson Fontaine, Matt?
That's true.
He said he wanted to help them. I'm pretty sure since he's been out there, he's been trying to help some of them as well. So why are we picking on a man like that and charging with incitement, trying to prevent the man from having a job? He went over to South Sudan to work, to feed himself and his family. Obviously, he has to be there at work. If he could not come down to Dominica for a case, simply tell him, listen, okay, so he came into Dominica voluntarily. You just simply pull him aside and say, hey, listen, you have to report to court by so-and-so date so you can hear this charge. Dr. Thompson Fontaine and his lawyer, I'm sure, would have attended that case. Very, very. But instead of that, we put him in a jail cell for a whole weekend, and then it's going to happen to many other people that it does not happen to yet, because it has already happened to many other people before. So Matt, here is saying two things. What NiDCLF wants to do is to help to provide legal defense funds for those persons like Dr. Fontaine, like Mr. Linton, and all these people who have been charged with incitement. I understand one person has even been charged with incitement to commit treason. And so it seems to me, Matt, that one of the things we want to do besides advocacy for democracy and for human rights and for civil liberties is also to try to encourage people, as we're doing now, not only individuals, Dominicans at home and abroad and friends of Dominica, but we will be reaching out to corporations that can provide financial assistance and grants to such a worthy cause, to provide that kind of defense for the people of Salisbury, for looking for this $4.2 billion that is still unaccounted for, and also for helping those persons who are charged with incitement, those frivolous charges, which after 5 years are going nowhere. But in addition to that, on the other side, Matt, we also have to mobilize the public, or to help mobilize the public to show their support. And they can do so anonymously by just going to the NiDCLF website and sign our petition. We put a petition there which says exactly why you should vote to ask for all those charges we dropped against Dr. Thompson Fontaine and Lennox Linton and the other patriots who have been charged with incitement. So please just go to the NiDCLF website at NiDCLF.org. Just scroll down the homepage. You'll see two options. One option there where you can vote by putting in your name and your email address if you'd like to, or scroll further down and you'll see where you can vote without putting any name, any email address. You just vote. You just says click, you vote here, takes you a page where you pass your cursor on the check mark, you vote yes, and that's it.
All right, let's take a few phone calls. I see a few phone calls coming. Are you there?
Yeah, Mr. Pelke, blessings. Mr. G and the orders that are there. Please, a toothache is a toothache before it sends you to the dentist at 5 o'clock in the morning, knowing that it's going to open 8 or 9 o'clock. If what you're looking for is where you're looking from and you're unaware of it, you will never recognize it is already there. If coming events cast a shadow before them, and we are preoccupied looking for the shadows, when the events are already upon us, we are trying to retrieve a democracy because we are in a full-fledged dictatorship. I know you're a gentleman and want to be mild-mannered and polite and respectful and all of that, Look at what has happened to Mr. Linton. They will get foreigners to try to assassinate him at his home. Tony Astafans and Roosevelt Skerritt committed a crime against Skerritt. That sounds strange, eh? And blame it on Mr. Linton. The police investigated, go at Mr. Linton home, instructed by the police to go at Mr. Linton home and search. When it's he and Skerritt that committed the crime, the police find out it was Tony Astafans after doing all the disturbance at Mr. Linton's home, and nothing was done. So many things. Look at the same Thompson Fountain, trying to overthrow government, then they lower it they reduce it to incitement. It's just, we are in a democracy, and we need to be man enough to say, yes, Dominica has gone away from a democracy and in a dictatorship.
So it's no longer a threat, Blessings. No longer a threat.
No, it is upon us. The event is upon us. We cannot be preoccupied looking for shadows. What they're waiting for when they come and close down 295? Arrest Mr. G, arrest Matt, disappear Blessings for us to say, oh, no, we're in a dictatorship. It is upon us. Sorry, but thanks.
Thank you. Let's take a few phone calls. Again, you can join it by calling 449-3095, 449-3096, and 449-3097.
I'm sorry, Matt, we have a significant donation coming in.
All right, we've just received a donation there from a former distinguished public servant. That's all I can say for now. Delivered by Mr. Danny Lugay. That's all I could say. I can repeat, a former distinguished public officer. Delivered by Danny Lugay. Will of course ask Danny Lugay to make a few remarks in a few minutes. Hello, talk to me.
Yes, Matt, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
Yeah, I'm not afraid to say my name, but I can only, Kendall Richards, I can only donate $20 at this point.
Okay,
right?
No problem. You can give us your number?
Yeah, 276-0167.
276-0167. Thank you. Let's go back to the telephone here. Again, just to emphasize, the numbers are 449-3095, 449-3096, and 449-3097. Danny, I see you've climbed many steps to be here this afternoon. Of course, you support the cause.
Well, yes, Matt. I didn't plan to come there, but when I got a call from this distinguished civil servant, I found myself at the home. And yes, it's a valiant effort by this team of people.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much injustice. And trust me, fundamentally, Matt, people of Dominica do not like injustice.
Mm-hmm.
I'm before the courts myself. I was kidnapped in Mondaniel. This case is before the court.
Mm-hmm.
But there are many, many more we do not know about. And some lawyers are working pro bono to try and deal with those cases. But on the other hand, many lawyers are avoiding these cases for fear. There's a lot of fear in this country. So we say kudos to the lawyers who step up to the plate. And in some cases, they work pro bono. Without that, we would be really underwater.
So what are they fearful about? What's the fright about? Yes, I'm just asking Danny, what is the fright about?
The fear about, there's a lot of targeting of professionals, business people, whether you're in the civil service or not.
Mm-hmm.
So people really scared to the core. So that's why those of us who step up to the plate, quietly, civil servants and policemen would knock me and say, Danny, boy, never give up. Never give up. It's a stressful thing, but we won't give up.
All right, let's take a phone call. Hello, yes?
Yeah, hello.
Yes, hi.
I will give my contribution at another point in time, but the reason for me calling.
Yes, go ahead.
Is that I heard the pirate for Rosanov. Yeah, the pirate for Rosanov talk about kidnap. I don't like that name now because kidnap is a small goat that is taking a nap. I want him to say instead of kidnap, say chuck seed. He was chuck.
All right, hello, talk to me. So you're Chuck Cedar, according to that term here. Let's move on to another phone call again. We're asking you to make your contribution. You can call 449-3095, 449-3096, or 449-3097, 616-4257. A phone call, yes? Hello.
Good afternoon, Matt. How you doing? Good afternoon, Matt. How you doing?
I'm doing fine.
It's Marlon calling from Canada. I haven't called in a while, but I'd like to thank these patriotic gentlemen for putting up this terrific cause. I strongly believe in it.
All right. Are you making?
And I'll be making. Yeah, I'll be making my pledge. I'll deliver directly to Mr. G.
All right.
I'll be making my pledge. I've already motivated people to donate as well, and let's continue promoting this cause. I'm a very strong supporter.
Sir, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Let's take another phone call. Yes.
But life I'll be coming in to make my contribution. And on another note, a lot of the people that were in tongue, I understood during that that vandalism in the tongue. A lot of them are right now are the snipers and the how the other name was snipers and the other name they had for them.
Navy SEALs.
Navy SEALs. A lot of them are the snipers and the Navy SEALs right now. Have a blessed day. Bye bye.
All right. Thank you very much. 449-3095-96 and 97. Hello, talk to me.
Matt, good afternoon.
To you, sir.
Okay, Matt. $50. First part of my donation for $50.
All right. You want to give us your number?
Yes, 235 3938. Nichols Andrew.
Okay, Nichols Andrew. Portsmouth, $50.
So you're gonna have to. I don't know. I always asking you all to do that. Decide for somebody in Postal to collect the money. There's about 3 people in Postal that usually do that. Pat Cobbett, Nicholas Andrew, and JJ.
I'm sure Pat Cobbett can pick it up, but can you give us your number, please?
235
39. Okay.
38.
38. All right. Mr. Crispin Gregoire, somebody's challenging you here on the telephone. A text message says, Mr. Crispin Gregoire, why are you so hesitant to say we are not operating in a democracy, or democracy is under tremendous threat? I think Blessings is absolutely correct. Are you afraid to say that we're not in a democracy? That's what somebody's challenging, Mr. Crispin Gregoire.
Well, Matt, in response to this, I noted what Blessing said, and this person that's written to you. No, I as I said, there's an erosion of political rights in Dominica. There's no question about that. I can say that very clearly. I myself has experienced tear gas. Mm-hmm. So political rights is under attack without question. Now there are semblances of democratic process that is still there, but we don't have free and fair elections. So that's a huge challenge right there. We have people who are being constantly harassed, people whose political rights are being curtailed. Whenever we reach that point where political rights are curtailed, clearly that's a major threat to democracy. And the fact that people are facing political charges, that tells you that democracy is under serious attack. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Crispin Gregoire is a trained diplomat, so you say things in ways that sometimes you don't understand. 449-3095-96. Thank you again, Mr. Crispin Gregoire. And somebody said, Mr. G, you can check it out. Somebody saying that they're trying to make a contribution of $1,200 on our Facebook page. So ask somebody to consider that or look at that. All right, somebody's trying to make a contribution. But again, I want to go back to Mr. George quickly. There are some people who might not be able to go and make, they're not that technological savvy or technical, but they want to maybe contribute via, Western Union or the other apps that they have. How can they do that? Who do they send it to?
Well, I think I responded to that earlier, but for the listeners who just start listening, the fastest way to go is to the website, to PayPal, or to the office. If they want to send it to Western Union, I believe they can
Mr.
send
George?
Yes.
Okay. Nicholas George is the name.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. 449. Let's go back to the telephone. Yes,
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
Okay, on behalf of Edmund Henderson, $200.
Edmund.
On behalf Edmund Henderson, yes.
Okay. Can you give us your number, please?
Wait a while. On behalf of Henderson Poultry, $200.
So Edmund Henderson is 200 and Edison
Henderson Poultry.
an extra $200.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The
well,
number is 235
235
7516.
7516. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
Bye-bye. We're gonna come, Dominica. We're gonna come back. We're gonna come back after this.
Nature Island Dominica Civil Liberties Foundation, Inc. NiDCLF, uniting our Kalinago and Afro-Caribbean nature islanders and friends of Dominica at home and abroad, coming together to help preserve the integrity of Dominica's democracy, human rights, and civil liberties, ensuring free, fair, and competitive elections on a level playing field within a system that guarantees freedom of expression, belief and association, respect for the inalienable rights of individuals and minorities, respect for the rule of law, for free communications media, and free from psychological, mental, and physical abuse of women, minors, the elderly, and young men. Some reported $4 billion from the sale of Dominica's Sacrament of Sovereignty, our citizenships, are alleged to have been deposited in mysterious foreign bank accounts controlled by two men, a shady Lebanese operative and a lead policy director. It is alleged that from this fund, the authorities have illegally and corruptly paid the way for thousands of Dominicans living abroad to travel to Dominica on the eve of general elections to vote strategically to help keep their government in power. Even worse, this money, which should have legally been deposited in the consolidated fund, has allegedly been used for every purpose imaginable for the sole goal of allowing government to remain in power. As a result of this illegal diversion of state funds, which is publicly acknowledged, Dominicans have been economically brought to their knees, while large buildings whose ownership is unknown are sprouting all over the country. Our architectural heritage is being desecrated. One party mysteriously erects an imposing headquarters in the city. Foreign artists are paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to hold partisan concerts in Dominica.
I'll tell you what, I know, Simon, you have to leave at this time, so let me allow you to give your final comments before you go.
Yes, thank you, Matt. Yes, so a couple of things. We had a donation from Viva Mamo on Facebook of $1,200 EC. So that is certainly commendable. And Viva Mamo, we thank you for your donation. And the other thing I wanted to point out real quick is just to say a quick thank you to our engineer, Mr. Sherwin Norris, who went ahead and pinned the website to this video. So again, Q95 FM radio on Facebook and YouTube. We encourage you to share this video because remember, if you missed the program live, you can always send it to someone to encourage them. And just to kind of piggyback on something one of the callers said, that we have to recruit other people. So that is one of the things that we as the board, we're doing as well. We're recruiting other people. We're creating a database of folks who are interested in the organization and who look to make a contribution in some way, whether it be financial or using their resources. So again, we encourage everyone to share this video so that this program goes beyond the 2 hours that we have today from 1 to 3 p.m. and it can be viewed on demand anytime someone has the chance. You can simply WhatsApp the link to anyone else so that they as well can see the program, they can see the website, they can click on the website and make a donation. So again, Matt, I want to thank you for having us on the program today. I want to thank our many, many listeners, everyone who made a donation, Danny Lugay, who ran down to the studio very quickly. I want to thank you for your effort, and also our viewers on YouTube and Facebook Live. And again, we have the work to do, but together as one Dominica, we can do so much. So again, have a good afternoon, everyone, and I will see you another time. Take care.
Thank you again. Thank you, Simon. Let's go back to the telephone. A few people are trying to call. Again, let's take this phone call. Hello, talk to me.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you.
Calling from Portsmouth.
Portsmouth, okay.
225-5565.
225-5565.
Yeah, I handed Mr. Corbett my contribution.
Okay, all right.
$100.
$100.
Yep.
There are people down in Portsmouth. Another person is saying, man, please don't call my name. There's a fear again. But I want to contribute $100 from Portsmouth again. Is 276-1261. All right, thank you very much. No names called. You can remain anonymous, and we will, of course, protect your identity. Hello, talk to me, yes?
Good afternoon, Mr. Peltier.
Good afternoon, my brother. How you doing?
Man, I've been listening all day, man. You know, I'm always there with you, even when I can't get in.
Yes.
When I do get in and my phone drops. But
Thank you.
let me say big up to all the people you have online with the fundraiser. I'm not going to tell you how much I pledged. I made my pledge 2 weeks ago already. So I'm in with the struggle, my brother. But I just want to make something clear to Sheridan and to you as a host, so maybe it's recorded, you all could revisit it. Man, you know, some of us suffer from misplaced priorities, and we don't see the need for certain things when people make a call. It's only when things reach our doorstep we tend to want to react, which is too late. So what I'm saying, it's almost like the ACLU in the United States. We must educate the people. The ACLU, and I'm assuming NiDCLF would be somewhat similar. They don't take every case that comes. They take cases where human rights, constitutional abuse, or where somebody's right is what you call your rights are abused or broken. Human rights, civil rights, a certain kind of cases like that. I'm kind of short for words right now because I'm kind of hungry, sitting there waiting for my food. But the thing I would like to suggest is going forward that they would have certain things, because you know there are people who are going to come forward and think, well, NiDCLF should take their case. Like Simone said, there are a lot of things that's going to come, out of this, and which I know that it is. But most of the cases would have implication where, say, if I was abused by the police, that could reach out further into the society, the police abuse. So you stand that out. So you take a case that has some kind of precedent that will not allow so many people to be abused, put the police in check, and government abuse and all that stuff. But the point is to have lawyers once or twice a week, or how often, every other week, to come on the radio and have a little conversation about abuse or where rights are being misused. Because Simone made a statement that a lot of people plead guilty to cases they shouldn't have just to avoid having to be locked up in a dirty, nasty cell. So these kind of things, you don't have to necessarily be locked up in a cell, but you don't have to take a guilty plea for something that you did not do, because it leads to more and more abuse, because people use your fear to do that. So I'm just putting that out there, my brother. I'm listening. It's a great initiative by all involved, and I say hope the people support it. And like a lady always call you, because this I've always been meaning to tell you. A lady always call you and ask what Mr. Linton them do with the money. If you cannot give a certain amount of money that you want to give, don't give money and then call back later asking what they do with the money, because it don't necessarily have to be spent on you or your immediate family. It's for a cause to save the country and to do things much wider than one person can do. Matt, I'm listening. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Somebody's asking a very genuine question. Huh? Why do we afraid to say our name? Why are we afraid to say our name? Again, it gets back to the same point we were making earlier, because people are fearful in this country. It's because of the higher ranks. Yes, it is because of the higher ranks, because of favors that some people may want granted at this time. But let's go back to the conversation we did with Thompson Fontaine, an interview right after he came out of the court, the cells sometime recently.
And it was kind of funny because
let's get to that.
I thought about it because it made me reflect quite a bit on how it is, how we treat our people. I mean, even if somebody is accused of doing a crime, the fact that you end up in a particular cell, you're just accused. You've not been charged. You've not been, in some cases, not been charged. You've not been found guilty before a court of law, and yet you're put for kind of a punishment. I mean, I can tell you, we were being served bread and butter. It was great. I can tell you, the first day I had the bread and butter and Kool-Aid, it was nice because it's been a long time I've had bread and butter for breakfast. But I found out soon after that I was going to my lunch and my dinner, the same bread and butter and Kool-Aid. And interestingly, there was a gentleman there who was just out of his mind, really.
Yeah,
he just kept, throughout the night, he was screaming, he was talking to himself very loudly, and so on. And it's kind of funny because, well, not funny, but it's also, I'm saying it because it's an interesting story in the sense that there was this young gentleman there who was brought up, who was in the cells, as he told me, and as I was told by the other inmates who were in the cell, that he was there because he had stolen 6 bread. He had stolen 6 bread, and he was being locked up. And then here he was being fed bread and butter. So I think on Sunday, after about 5 days, I think on Sunday he got tired of the bread and butter. So he kept telling the officer, you're not seeing the Vienna sausage? Look, the Vienna sausage there, officer. It's right there, officer, you're not seeing it, it's right there. Take this Vienna sausage from me. He kept talking about Vienna sausage. He wanted Vienna sausage. And way into the morning, at 3 in the morning, him calling out to somebody, bring me 2 Vienna sausages, so it showed in a way that there was this man who was clearly mentally unstable, put under those conditions. And I really felt sorry because I was thinking that we can do better. Matt, a society, the reflection of a society is how you take care of the most vulnerable about you.
Let's put that last comment there from Dr. Fountain. Mr. George, how do you feel about this?
Well, thanks, Matt, for playing that again. I heard it before and hearing it again. What it signaled to me is the humility of the gentleman, Dr. Fontaine. And it's also speak about his prospect of how he sees the world. There is a saying, I'm not sure if it's Confucius who said it, but he said basically, why do you climb the mountain? Do you climb the mountain so that persons can see you and you look great? Or do you climb the mountain so that you can see the world and recognize what needs to be done? And here we are, a gentleman, after traveling all these hours, is arrested and placed in a cell. And instead he come out on the media and complained about his, of course, deprivation of sleeps with rats and cockroaches. And he instead makes an appeal to the other prisoners who were with him. And I think that speaks volume of the character of the individual that we're talking about. And I think if Thompson climbed the mountain, it would be to see what he can do for others and not what he could just do for himself. So I thought that's a very interesting piece. I think it speaks volume to the character of the gentleman. Yes.
Thank you. And of course, I don't know he has revealed, but I was told by some source close to the police last week he did another great a great move when he went there and he saw some Venezuelans who have been in the prison for a number of months, and he actually supported their cause because they were being persecuted there for many months. The government didn't pay no attention, but he went in there and he assisted the gentleman there. That's another great move from Dr. Fontaine. I'm sure he'll talk about that sometime when we do an interview, but he did intervene there and supported the Venezuelans who were there for some charges or the other. We're going to come back, Dominica, right after this. I
come this year to deliver flowers, royal homegrown the best.
Q95, the big station, presents Kudos to Our Heroes. Our 10th Dominican national hero is cultural ambassador and distinguished lady of song, Ophelia. We recognize, appreciate, and award Ophelia on Q95, the big station. for her valuable, transformational, lifelong social and cultural accomplishments, her pioneering works and meaningful lifetime achievements as a great entrepreneur and humanitarian and cultural icon who has inspired generations of Dominicans at home and abroad in numerous ways, but especially the senior citizens, for her caring character and humility, and for her extensive knowledge and expertise in music and entertainment, among other things. A great lady of humble beginnings, she will without a doubt be remembered as always striving to be the best she can be and to be the best at whatever she does. Kudos to Ophelia, her husband Mark, and her family. Ophelia is indeed a true Dominican hero for instilling a positive mental attitude that elevated the content of the social and cultural dialogue on matters of culture and human well-being, and for being a great Dominican who demonstrated that each one of us can do extraordinary things in whatever we set our minds to do. Q95 listeners at home, in the region and worldwide, tune in to Q95. Join us in recognizing, appreciating, awarding, and extending kudos to our 10th Dominican national hero, consummate and distinguished lady of song and cultural ambassador, Ophelia. If you would like to make a personal contribution to our phenomenal heroes or to our Kudos to Our Heroes Committee, take it to the Q95 radio office on Hanover Street in Roseau, or go to the Q95 website at www.q95da.com and make your donation. Call us at 767-448-5822 or at 305-906-4216, or talk to one of our representatives. Let us all together say a huge thank you to all our Dominican heroes from the Q family at home and abroad. Only on Q95, the big station.
And more retardation than disincentive and victimization. No drive to succeed, no honor to serve. When people cannot receive what they deserve, men who held their dignity in their commitments, even when targeted by their own government. Come, let's deliver to them one by one, all patriotic women and men, until all the flowers are done. Whoa, whoa, flowers, flowers, is what we have to give.
And of course, a special tribute to Ophelia will be done tomorrow night on Global View on Q. Tonight, we have the dream discussion taking place at the PSU. So be part of that discussion tonight, right here. I suspect that will be carried live by Q95 as well. It's a big discussion taking place. Our dream for Dominica. You're going to come back after this.
Breaking news. News just coming into hand is that Val Ferry is heading to Guadeloupe May 20th, offering you an experience you can never forget. Round trip to Guadeloupe, only $300 EC. Val Ferry departs Dominica 6 a.m. and departs Guadeloupe at 5:30 p.m. Tout le monde, débrouillez cause féminin, rythme poissé. Enjoy a whole day of awesome shopping, visiting family and friends, enjoying a much-needed vacation, do your medicals and other business. Hurry, make reservations with your very friendly Val Ferry today. The lines are filling up at Val Ferry. 245-3457, 440-3457. Corner of Great George Street and Kennedy Avenue. Only $300 round trip to Guadeloupe, Guadeloupe, May 20th, and take advantage. We pour l'avantage. May 20th, Guadeloupe, Nukavini as a Val Ferry.
All right, Dominica, we're going to come back to our panel here, and I suspect Mr. Danny Luque wants to make say something.
Well, I would just like to tip my
Matt,
off to these gentlemen.
Matt, just 1
Mr.
minute.
Sheridan Gregoire, Diplomat Gregoire, Dr. Dion, Dr. Simon, Dr. Andre, Gabe Christian, and all the others who conceived this idea, because, you know, for those who do not know, it's a fearful thing, Matt, to fall into the hands of the judicial system and you do not have the resources. So I think it was a brilliant idea, and I really want to say thanks to these senior men. I don't want to say senior citizens. I know Mr. Gregoire will be disappointed if I call him that. He has a bald head like mine. I don't know what he hiding, if it's his silver foxes. But yes, they really do deserve a great hats off. And to Dominicans at home, I want to tell you to support this worthy cause. Just like this senior citizen in Goodwill who called me right away. I said, Danny, come. And she made a contribution, for which we are thankful for. So wherever you are, in the region, in the diaspora, any part of Dominica, this is certainly one of the most worthy cause that I can think of. So I just want to say thanks to the senior Gregoires and Dion and all the others I mentioned.
All right, let's go back to the telephone. We'll come back, and of course, hold on, Mr. Gregoire. Hold on. Are you there? Hold on. Yes.
Yes, Mr. Peltier. On behalf of my son, he did not request it, Matt.
Yes.
He's available. I want to pledge $50.
Thank you very much, blessings. Thank you.
That is $250. Can I bring it into Q95, Matt?
Yes, you can. You can do that.
Is there the beautiful lady Nikita?
Yes, there'll be a beautiful lady called Nikita at that desk.
I haven't seen the face in ages, Matt, so I want to come there. Don't worry,
she's more beautiful now, so you'll see her. All right.
But so let me tell you there quick.
Yes, I'm here.
You see the level of fearfulness, Matt? You see how people are afraid? Because they know the consequences of making it public, Matt. So, Matt, to tell you the truth, you know what that happened to me. I have a little money. People reach out and do so much for me. If I could give more, I would, Matt.
I know.
But I am telling you, I'm calling on people, those who initiated that, brilliant. And please, we are not supposed to shy away and figure out, I see people call broke people broke, Matt. Matt, you see people not calling. You see, I tell you, Monf and Rosa, White, Dominica, dead, Matt. You see, people are not calling. It's not because they do not want to support the initiative, Matt, people are broke and people don't even want the names mentioned because in case they reach in a little situation, they have to beg for what is rightfully theirs, Matt. So they're afraid of politicians. Matt, I'll bring $250 tomorrow, God willing, or maybe I'll send my son and bring it if I can make it. Blessings.
Thank you again. Mr. G, I suspect you were about to say something when I cut you off. Go ahead.
Yes, I wanted to say something, Matt, because I'm really happy to see that the response that we're getting. NiDCLF is just about a year old, and we've come a long way. We've made good strides. But I wanted to personally thank Honorable Danny Luge for being in the studio with us. He is one of those persons, in fact, who has been victimized in many occasions. And it's gratifying to see him come there and looking to help others while he himself is under the gun. So, Matt, it is extremely important for us to be able to show respect for people like Danny Luge. But I have to tell you, Danny, that there are two Gregoires. Both of them have bald head. I don't know which one is older. But nonetheless, Matt, I want to go back to blessings. I want to acknowledge the input that he made, because I think I don't want him to think that what he said is without merit.
Okay.
It is with merit. But here's what we are pledging to do right now, Matt. What we want to do is the immediate problem at hand. We're very concerned about democracy, very, very concerned about where it's at and where it's going. But what we want to do right now is to hope to help these attorneys to mount a major challenge in the court to have these cases against these people dismissed. Because, Matt, this is what it is. This thing is just hanging over the heads of people who have not done anything wrong. For 5 years, they have this thing hanging over their heads. And so we have to do something about it. And I believe these attorneys now must really get to the court and mount a serious challenge to have this thing dismissed for want of prosecution. I cannot think of any better reason than that. That must be done now, and we're willing to assist in the Legal Defense Fund for that purpose. That is why we're here this afternoon. So Thompson Fountain brought its stark reality back to us. We heard Danny Luge being victimized, Jude Lennox Linton being victimized, Sparks and all these people being victimized, and Moon Selway people and Brian Linton, all kind of people being victimized. The most recent event with Thompson Fountain brought the thing very, very far home to us. And so we all have to realize, but wait a minute now, if this is a man who was on the radio, He did absolutely nothing. He was far removed from even the meeting that took place and whatever happened after the meeting had been completed. And yet this man is being arrested and charged and being, it's so punitive. So Matt, we have to do something. And that is why I'm urging everyone, no matter where you are in your neck of the woods, if you're in Portsmouth in the north, you want to make a donation, the best thing to do is go over to Mr. Pat Corbett, call him and have a word, give him the contribution. I'm sure he'll get it to us. I'm sure if you want to do something in Dominica and you're not able to come, call Mr. Nicholas George. Matt, you already gave out his number. It's 285-5585. And I'm sure that he'll be happy to take a contribution and bring it in. Mr. Nicholas George is a member of the board of NiDCLF, so you can give him whatever contributions that you have, and he'll make it good. But Matt, I think it's important for people to get used to going to the website and just make a contribution now and then when they can, because it's so easy. And remember, you have anonymity, and also you get an automatic receipt. So you know that you paid and you have a receipt showing that you've contributed. So, I mean, I would urge people to just go to the website right now if you can, click on the donate button and make whatever donation that you can. What we would like to do, Matt, is we'd like to engage. Somebody mentioned that we should engage in a series of discussions with the lawyers as NiDCLF, and we'll do that. Because I think it's important for the lawyers to understand that they have to take action. Otherwise, you can see, I heard Danny Luge say that even the lawyers are fearful of taking cases.
It's obvious.
How can we have a legal system, a system of justice where the lawyers who are supposed to be defending people are afraid to take cases because they feel they might be victimized or they might... No, Matt, this is going too far. And somebody has to stand up. I think we need to do that. Here's what we would like to do, Matt. If you are able to make a donation, make it. But if you're not able to make a donation, we would like you to, what you can do is set up a little network of people around you. You know, if you're in Texas or you're in Connecticut or in New Jersey, set up a little network, 3, 4, 5, 6, a dozen people and say, listen, guys, we have to contribute to do something. Let's get together, do a little barbecue, do something, raise some funds, and let's go in there and make a contribution. Send it by a Zelle or by PayPal or wherever you can. But just make the contribution, because what we would like to do, Matt, is to really, the immediate problem at hand now is to get these charges removed from these people's heads. It's just really too much. It's not making any sense. It's either the prosecutors go in there and prosecute the case if they have the evidence. But everything that comes back to us so far indicates that they do not have the evidence. And if the people who actually did these activities, performed these acts, are saying that none of these people incited us to do any of these things, well, why are you charging these people and holding this thing over the head? It's very simple, Matt. So we want to raise the funds so we can assist so these lawyers can go to the court and get these charges removed from hanging over these people's heads. And most of all, we want right away to try to see whatever, I don't know what the situation is, Matt, right now. I don't know if you know what is the situation of Dr. Thompson Fontaine and his bail conditions. But we really would like to see those bail conditions.
Well, as a matter of fact, I've just been informed that he may be before the court, and the lawyers or lawyer may be addressing the issue at this time. I've just asked my reporter in the court to give me an update, so I might be able to do so just before the program wraps up. Yeah.
But Matt, isn't it really pathetic that this man, we know that this man works in South Sudan. We know that is how he feeds his family. Why do you want to prevent him from going to work when we know that the courts have been meeting in their sessions via Zoom? If he can be in South Sudan and attend the court hearing via Zoom, his attorneys can represent him, if not personally in court or via Zoom. I'm sure that if the court requires Dr. Thompson Fontaine to come, he would come down from his place in his work in South Sudan and face, because look, I hear people say, oh, the reason why Thompson Fontaine came down is he wants to vie for leadership of the United Workers' Party. Well, isn't that a kind of a stark contradiction? Because if somebody is planning to come and contest elections, it means that you're not planning to run away from the country. So why do you want to say this man is a flight risk if in fact you're also saying on the other side of your face that he wants to come down and contest elections? So Matt, there seems to be a serious contradiction. So here's what I'm suggesting to our people. at home, abroad, friends of Dominica, and NiDCLF will be going out to some corporations that might be able to help. Do what you can right now. Go into the website, make a little donation as much as you can, and let's add it up, and then let's go in there and let's try to get something going for the defense of those charges and get them dropped.
All right, let's see if we can get back to the telephones and take a few phone calls. Hello, talk to me, yeah?
Good afternoon, Matt.
Good afternoon to you.
Yes, Matt. I just tuned in and I heard Blessing and Mr. G on the radio. This is the fundraising thing?
Yes, this is a fundraising exercise.
Well, I want to pledge. I will talk to you after. I want to pledge $100 for US dollars on behalf of Scott said.
All right. Can you give us your number, please?
Yeah, you have my number, Matt.
Okay, yes, I do. I'll pass it on.
Yes, Matt.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you.
But Matt, since I can ask Mr. G a question quick. No,
He's right there. He's right there. You can ask a question.
He do not have to answer now, but I just want to know if somebody just decided coming from Haiti and decide, well, your program starts at 8:00, which is the hot seat, and they decide they're going to stand at the door so that you don't get in to go to that program. Who will call the police? Mr. G is the one who has the right to call the police?
Anybody that have that information might be able to call the police.
Oh, okay. I believe Mr. G will be able to answer that sometime. So do your thing.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much. 449-3095. Matt, I have a PayPal account. And yes, I suspect on the PayPal, Mr. George, you haven't been made a contribution in a minute here. Who did they send that to?
So the PayPal is NiDCLF@gmail.org, and then it goes .com, sorry, and it goes straight to our Vice President and Secretary, that is Dr. Simone Matthew. But myself,
can you repeat that again?
Yes, our email, which is access to the PayPal account, would be NiDCLF@gmail.com. And persons like Dr. Simone Matthew, Mr. Sheridan Gregoire, the CFO, and myself, we have access to the email, and we receive the funds, then transfer it to of course, our NiDCLF account. And of course, they too would receive a receipt for that. Interestingly, persons who are also in the US, I think it's important to mention that they would receive credit for donating, because we are in fact a 501c non-profit organization, and they can claim.
Can you break that down? There are some people who don't understand what that means.
Good, absolutely. Thank you, Matt. Yes, and so in the United States tax system, where persons contribute to non-profit organizations that exist not to make profit, but perhaps to fulfill functions like our own, probably advocacy, probably education, probably saving whales, whatever it might be. When persons make donations toward these organizations, the government of the United States can refund them during tax season for that contribution. And we are saying here this afternoon that we have been approved with that status, and so we welcome those folks in the United States who wants to make that contribution, that they would receive a refund as well.
All right, thank you. Let's just take a break, commercial break, and we'll come back after this.
The day you see I'm getting old, I ask you to please be patient. But most of all, try to understand what I am going through.
Worry no more. Cal's Home Healthcare is in Dominica. Care, love, and compassion.
Cal's Home Healthcare have been taking care of me for a number of years. They are superb in what they do.
When I don't want to take a bath, don't be mad and don't embarrass me.
Our clients are like family. So it's not just a job. It's something we enjoy because our clients mean so much to us.
Share the experience in your golden years. Call Nurse Cabin for more information. 1767-245-1279. All the care you need for the elderly.
Breaking news. News just coming into hand is that Val Ferry is heading to Guadeloupe May 20th, offering you an experience you can never forget. Round trip to Guadeloupe only $300 EC. Val Ferry departs Dominica 6 a.m. and departs Guadeloupe at 5:30 p.m. Tout le monde, débrouillez corso, féminin, rythme poissé. Enjoy a whole day of awesome shopping, visiting family and friends, enjoying a much-needed vacation, do your medicals and other business. Hurry, make reservations with your very friendly Val Ferry today. The lines are filling up at Val Ferry. 245-3457, 440-3457. Corner of Great George Street and Kennedy Avenue. Only $300 round trip to Guadeloupe, Guadeloupe, May 20th, and take advantage. We pour l'avantage. May 20th, Guadeloupe, Nukavini as a Val Ferry.
Stop spending lots of time and money on transmissions, engine rebuilding kits, and shaving cylinder heads. Come, let me take you to the doctor. TC Auto Parts in Castle Comfort. A large selection of engines and transmissions in stock. We also store suspension, body parts, lights, and other parts for Japanese-made vehicles. Toyota, Honda, Suzuki, Mazda, Chevrolet, Nissan. TC Auto Parts in Castle Comfort.
Remember that if we do not have it in stock, you can place your order for the next shipment. Talk to hundreds of customers whose vehicles are now back on the road because they got their shipments from TC Auto Parts. We also order vehicles from Japan, and customers can pay locally.
Supplies are limited, so call 265-7109 or visit number 9 Castle Comfort above the Courts Warehouse. TC Auto Parts, your number one for genuine used auto parts directly from Japan. Now you're on your way.
Get into my car.
Make home a happy place with furniture from Astafans and Company Limited. Furniture for every room, beds, closets, wardrobes, side tables, even bathroom and toilet accents and accessories. Work or study from home with a brand new computer desk and chair. Relax with living room furniture, TV stands, center tables, indoor and outdoor chairs. Any piece of custom furniture you need is also available at J. Astafans and Company Limited's Furniture Factory. Call today 255-2791 or 255-2793 and make your house a home. Astafans, right place, right price.
Let's take a phone call. Hello, talk to me. We have just about 20 more minutes on this particular program. Are you there? Yes, yes.
Pledge $100.
You pledge $100. Now, can we have your number, please?
Yes,
614
22 52.
2252.
I'll bring it in the studio.
You bring it in the studio, okay?
But Matt, let me ask Mr. G.
Yes?
For the past 4 weeks, we can't get the in Grand Fund. We can't get Q95 on the radio, so we only get it on the TV.
Well, you want Mr. G to answer that question. Mr. G, they're concerned about the reception there in Grand Falls. Speak to that.
Yes, and Matt, I can assure the gentleman that I am even more concerned than he is.
Okay.
There seems to be something happening that 1 or 2 hour transmitters, somehow, something happened to them. So we're looking at that closely, but we are making arrangements to have them replaced. And we're hoping to have that done soon and to have all of the transmission restored. But it's something that is a very concerning to us as well. So we are looking into that.
All right, so you got the assurance there from the CEO of Q95 that they're looking into that. Okay, so stick around. We're going to come right back again. Very busy afternoon.
A happy place with furniture from Astafans and Company Limited. Furniture for every room, beds, closets, wardrobes, side tables, even bathroom and toilet accents and accessories. Work or study from home with a brand new computer desk and chair. Relax with living room furniture, TV stands, center tables, indoor and outdoor chairs. Any piece of custom furniture you need is also available at J. Astafans and Company Limited's Furniture Factory. Call Call today 255-2791 or 255-2793 and make your house a home. Astafans, right place, right price.
Breaking news. News just coming into hand is that Val Ferry is heading to Guadeloupe May 20th, offering you an experience you can never forget. Round trip to Guadeloupe only $300 EC. Val Ferry departs Dominica 6 a.m. and departs Guadeloupe at 5:30 p.m. Tout le monde, débrouillez cause féminin, vêtements poissés. Enjoy a whole day awesome shopping, visiting family and friends, enjoying a much-needed vacation, do your medicals and other business. Hurry, make reservations with your very friendly Val Ferry today. The lines are filling up at Val Ferry. 245-3457, 440-3457. Corner of Great Street and Kennedy Avenue. Only $300 round trip to Guadeloupe, Guadalupe, May 20th, and take advantage. We pour l'avantage. May 20th, Guadeloupe, Nukavini as a Val Ferry.
Always be sure you're settled for more. Get up to 35% off Beacon's fully comprehensive vehicle insurance and still cover a whole lot more. Enjoy higher discounts and better coverage for any kind of vehicle, car, SUV or pickup with free lot of use, windscreen cover and special perils. To sign up, call Archipelago Trading at 448-5247 or log on to beacon.co.tt and settle for more today.
Do you want to win appliances, groceries, laptops, hotel giveaways, and loads of cash? Well, Digicel has you covered. Every day is payday in May. Activate any Digicel Prime bundle and listen out for that call where you can get paid in May. Enjoy unlimited Digi calls and SMS. Any use data to stream and surf data for YouTube and TikTok. Plus, get a chance to get paid in May every day. Activate a Digicel Prime bundle in the My Digicel app or dial *140 $. Every day is payday in May. Digicel, better together.
Nature Island Dominica Civil Liberties Foundation, Inc. NiDCLF, uniting our Kalinago and Afro-Caribbean nature islanders and friends of Dominica at home and abroad, coming together to help preserve the integrity of Dominica's democracy, human rights, and civil liberties, ensuring free, fair, and competitive elections on a level playing field within a system that guarantees freedom of expression, belief and association, respect for the inalienable rights of individuals and minorities, respect for the rule of law, for free communications media, and free from psychological, mental, and physical abuse of women, minors, the elderly, and young men. Some reported $4 billion from the sale of Dominica's Sacrament of Sovereignty, our citizenships, are alleged to have been deposited in mysterious foreign bank accounts controlled by two men, a shady Lebanese operative and a lead policy director. It is alleged that from this fund, the authorities have illegally and corruptly paid the way for thousands of Dominicans living abroad to travel to Dominica on the eve of general elections to vote strategically to help keep their government in power. Even worse, this money, which should have legally been deposited in the consolidated fund, has allegedly been used for every purpose imaginable for the sole goal of allowing government to remain in power. As a result of this illegal diversion of state funds, which is publicly acknowledged, Dominicans have been economically brought to their knees, while large buildings whose ownership is unknown are sprouting all over the country. Our architectural heritage is being desecrated. One party mysteriously erects an imposing headquarters in the city. Foreign artists are paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to hold partisan concerts in Dominica. Support our radiothon, fundraising events, subscriptions, GoFundMe, and other initiatives to help raise funds to support a legal challenge against the siphoning of public funds from the Consolidated Fund and other initiatives and actions. Nature Island Dominica Civil Liberties Foundation, Inc., NiDCLF, working to help unify and build Dominica and our Afro-Caribbean and Kalinago brothers and sisters at home and abroad. NiDCLF, fighting to save our nature island, Dominica.
All right, Dominica, we don't have too much more time. So I'm going to allow Mr. Danny Luge, who may be paying attention to what is going on there in the magistrate's court. From my information thus far, that the case is moving very smoothly. So we may have some good news there for Mr. Dr. Tonkin Fontaine in a few minutes. But Danny, before you go, I suspect you want to make a final comments.
Yeah, Matt, I'm going to make my emergency exit from the studio, but not from the cause. Again, I want to say hats off to these honorable gentlemen and gentle doctor lady, for sacrificing. I've heard them week after week promoting this just cause, and I will do my bit in my constituency and on our Thursday night radio program to promote this most noble cause. Let me tell you, thanks, gentlemen. I really do appreciate you. And let me say to Dominicans, wherever you are in the world, you too can make your little contribution to make a difference in Dominica. All of us working together can bring that change that we so yearn for. Thank you very much. God bless you.
All right, thank you very much. Let's take a phone call. Yes, we have a few more minutes. If you want to make a contribution, again, it's 449-3095, 449-3096, 449-3097. Of course, I just lost that call there again.
Matt, if I may, can I thank Don?
Let's go back to Mr. George, who will guide us through to the website. Mr. George.
Yes. Well, I thought Crispin was going to say something.
Yes, Matt, I think Crispin wanted to say something, Matt. And as we go to Crispin, I also wanted Crispin to dwell a little bit longer for us, a moment or two, on the whole question of donations from persons who are in the U.S. once we have the 501c3 status, because that could make a huge difference in being able to attract some support from individuals and from corporations as well. So maybe, Crispin, you can indicate to us how people can benefit from that once they have their receipts.
Yes, Matt, I wanted to first thank Danny Luge for being present and for supporting us. And as regards having 501c3 status, what it means that we are a tax-exempt organization. We are non-profit, first of all, and we are a tax-exempt corporation, which means that the U.S. Internal Revenue Service recognizes us as a bona fide non-profit that can receive tax-deductible contributions. So when people make contributions to us, they can deduct it on their taxes. They have to make sure they hold on to that receipt and give it to their accountant or whoever prepares the taxes, and there's a deduction for that reduces their tax liability by that amount. So that's a very important status that we have. And those people who are in the United States can take advantage of that. But Matt, I quickly wanted to add to that, the reason why we exist. One of the things that really drove our motivation to form this organization is that the international human rights machinery recognizes that there are problems in Dominica. We have and I'm reading from their information.
Okay.
That we have frequent use of states of emergency, the use of force against the opposition, and potential abuses that are inherent in the wording of the Public Order Act, which infringes on peaceful assembly and freedom of assembly. So these things concern us, and as advocates, when it comes to the advocacy work that we will do, we are very focused on those things. And that's the Human Rights Committee of the UN talking. So it's important for people to understand we do have problems. We do have serious problems that merit attention. But the specific, most important pressing issues now is those people who are facing incitement before the court. And we want to see action by the court to end that, to drop these charges.
All right. Any further comments there from you, Mr. George?
Yes, Matt. I want to also share the sentiments of Crispin with thanking Danny Luge for making the sacrifice to come here in very short notice. We appreciate that. But I also wanted to point out something that we have been talking about, and I think it's important to point it out. One must recognize, what are we asking for? what is our purpose in a very broad and philosophical way.
Mhm.
What I mean by that is we have been using the term democracy, and we have been using that term very loosely. But political scientists have done so many studies, and there's one such study that has 36 versions of a democracy. And there is this view, as in, what democracy do we want? My bottom line is we want a democracy that works for our people. What do I mean by that? Say, for example, an allegory. Dominica has 80% workers, United Workers' Party, and 20% labor. And the ultimate question is, and of course I use the reverse of that on purpose. The ultimate question is, do you always believe that when they vote, that they will always vote for the best of everybody in the country, that they would vote for the 100%? And so we could dissect or categorize this percentage by race, by party. And the bottom line is no, maybe they would not. I.e., maybe workers would not support the rest of the 20% who is not workers. The concept that I'm referring to is one which is called the tyranny of the majority. It's also referred to as the mob rule. It's the whole idea that persons who have a majority can take advantage of the minority so much that the truth itself, that justice itself is denied based on categories like race, party line, etc. And so my bottom line here is that the democracy that we seek is one that is free of fear, one that is objective, and the ultimate goal is one that works for everyone. And sometimes the way to do that is outside of the realm of governance itself. Sometimes the way to do that is where one incorporates non-profit like NiDCLF, religious education, civic groups. Sometimes it is these third players in the system that brings the genius of what a democracy is for everybody. So with that, Matt, I want to say thank you so much for giving us the airtime to do that. And I really hope that Dominicans will see this, not solely for the issue at hand right now, which undeniably it's important, of course, to raise the funds for the Salisbury cause and for the charges against those folk, but that they would see it as an organization that exists for a long time, permanently, that even when there are changes in government, doesn't matter who the government in the offices at the time, that they would be held accountable. So that's
Thank you, Mr. George. And Mr. Gregoire, of course, we have some more business to do at the remaining minutes, so I'm going to give you a chance to wrap up here, Mr. G.
Yes, Matt, I want to just thank all of those persons who had pledged and who, in fact, went on the website and made donations before. I want to thank them sincerely, and those persons who pledged today, thank you so much for that. And those persons who intend to pledge, thank you. Those persons who may bring their contribution into the studio, thanks you very much for that. And to those who are going to call Nicholas George and to do it through him, those who are going to call or meet Mr. Pat Cobbett and do it through him. And basically those persons who are going to set up little networks or groups of people around them who are going to try to encourage people to either go to the website and make a contribution, make a donation, or just hold little activities and then, raise some funds in whatever, humble way they can and make the contribution. I want to thank everybody for that, Matt. And I want to thank the members of the committee of the board of NiDCLF for being here today. Three of our members could not make it because their attorneys were involved in the court today, but they did send their support out to us while we were on air. Grateful to them for that. I want to thank you, Matt, and thank Sherwin and so on for the work that you're doing to help us be on the air, making this effort.
And I want to thank a young lady who was in studios. I didn't know if she wanted me to call her name. She has been, you want to say good afternoon to of course, the people out there? Say good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. That's all she could say.
Yes.
Tell your name.
Well,
Onika.
She's been here taking the contributions. I just want to say thank you to her.
Yeah, well, thank you so much to her as well, Matt. I really appreciate every little effort counts. And we know that people are going to come in and we're going to continue the awareness and the advocacy of the days ahead. And we know that people will continue making the pledges. But personally in the United States, I mean, they were very, very informed by Crispin a while ago. They can get their tax rebates. So please, just don't be afraid to go in there, make your donations, get your receipts, and then when you're going to make your tax returns, give it to your accountant or your auditor to put in there for you so you can get your refund.
All right, Mr. Crispin Gregoire, Mr. George, and Mr. Sheridan Gregoire, thank you very much I'm going to
Thank you,
monitor
Matt.
the case there for Thompson Fountain. I heard it's moving on very smoothly there, and maybe we'll have some good news by the end of the afternoon. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you, Matt. Keep us informed. Keep us updated about Thompson's situation. Huh?
We'll do that. Thank you very much. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Okay,
bye for now.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.